Good morning, good evening, good whatever time it is you're listening to this. I hope you're having a good one. I'm going to be going over the SPY, the datasets, and any earnings for May 9th, 2025. And with that said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. If my camera will change. Here we go. Alright, so the data on Thursday came in pretty in line. Excuse me. So the jobless claims came in pretty much right within forecast. As I mentioned, the previous was up pretty high, so coming in with forecast is really good. Uh, yeah, the initial jobless claims is fine. Non-farm productivity, that is quite a decrease. Seeing how this is a revision, uh, yeah, that's a pretty massive decrease actually compared to the forecast. Um, Maybe that's why the market ran so hot today. Now, we did see both of these came in line as well. The Treasury the bond auction was pretty much the same rate. It was a little bit higher, nothing major though. The thing that I have been looking at the last little bit is the Fed's balance sheet, and I'm going to pull it up on this screen. I don't know if it will show correctly. Let me just double check. So the balance sheet since 2022 has been massively shrinking. Excuse me. There was a small period of QE in here, but other than that, um, it's been on a massive downturn of shrinking. Now, while it doesn't matter too much, there's only been a few instances where we see the actual balance sheet moving up, um, and this is one of them. We last saw this in March, uh, by 3 billion, and I believe in February, yeah, right there by 3 billion as well. Um, this was also a 3 billion, but um, or 2 billion, but um, yeah, that's just interesting. Seeing the balance sheet starting to not just go straight down, because it was going down pretty. Uh, can't think of the word right now because I'm exhausted, but it was going down really quickly. And seeing it starting to taper out now, uh, that could be a signal saying that potentially they're going to start tapering out their QT even more and potentially start moving into QE, where they start buying back their treasuries or, securities, whatever they decide to buy back. Now, let's go into the earnings, and I'm going to swap my camera really quick so it will look messy. There we go. So, on Thursday, there wasn't anything too major. We had coin earnings, Rocket Lab, Sound, DraftKings, Marathon. Really nothing too major. Uh, Most of the tech earnings were pretty much done for the week. We don't have anything moving into tomorrow. We do have Wolf, uh, not Wolf, just to make that clear, in the pre-market, but I'm not going to be trading that, and I don't really know any. Just a quick reminder before we get into the technical analysis. If you've been finding value in my insights, consider joining my Patreon. For just $12.99 a month, you'll get access to my trades, courses, and powerful tools to help you grow as a trader. I'd love to have you be a part of our team and community. And it's less than 43 cents a day. So if you'd like to join, click in the link in the description. Thanks. And with that said, let's quickly go over the technical analysis. I don't want to make this a very long video. Um, Going into the daily chart, pulling up our moving averages. Let's quickly go over the levels. So we closed at 565.06, so essentially right at 565. We have the 5 mile at 563.06, so that will pull upward, very likely close to the 564 range. I'm just writing that down. Very likely to the 564, give or take. It really depends on where the market opens in the overnight. Now the 10 mile is at 558.41, so it's starting to creep up to the 560 range. Very likely will be there tomorrow actually. The 20 MA is at 544, 73. So that's slowly moving up its way upward towards that 550 range, pulling support upward. The upper Bollinger is at 576.59. So while we did see it pull downward slightly yesterday, it did start pulling back upward today. And very likely that's going to be almost all the way upward towards the 580 range as of tomorrow. Now, the ADL, uh, kind of surprisingly, has been kind of chopping in this area, and not just chopping, it's been actually moving downward slightly. It doesn't show it very well on this screen, but it is moving downward slightly, and while that could just be a liquidity thing, that is showing that money is moving out of the fund, but that kind of plays into some of our structures, and let's just quickly go over it. While there's kind of a lot going on in this image, um, I am going to highlight what's kind of important here. So we do have this larger yellow cup right here. That finished out, that's bullish. From this cup, like I mentioned, and a lot of my things in this image are really messed up, but they'll translate better on the 4-hour time frame. Um, we mentioned how in the top of this cup, there we go, there would be bear structure building. Okay, and we're starting to see that, but we are starting to see some potential bull structure here too. So we'll get into that, but potentially bear structures is forming here, and we talked about this head forming. Um, this potentially could still pull upward a little bit more to where it forms something like this, where this becomes the left shoulder, builds a head, and then forms a right shoulder from that. But for now, we're going to continue to keep this as the large head and this as the left shoulder. And that overall that this is building a large head and shoulders to pull downward. Now we have a couple different things to look for. On this large cup, we're expecting a handle. And since we're expecting a handle, we're expecting bear structure in here. Well, we had really good bear structure right in this area. We had this potential inverse head and shoulders coming upward, and that actually led to a breakout. And the problem for that is that because that led to a breakout, and let me go ahead and bring up my drawing tool for a moment, now formed a cup. Okay, and since that formed a cup, what generally happens is cups form handles and they move upward. So is this potentially the market getting ready to push above that 570 200 mile range? It could be. This could be potentially getting ready to move right into that upper Bollinger range and really finish out that move. But just to really put that in perspective, that's going to be a push all the way up to close to the 580 range. Okay, so that's a pretty massive push. I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. It could, but I really don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. I think this is going to need more data of some sort to really cause some sort of breakout to happen. And actually, I want to go back to the data sets really quick because we didn't even go over the data sets today. Yeah, the data sets for Friday. Yeah, we missed that. So we have some Fed speeches in the morning. Really nothing major, but this can lead to the market breaking out upward, and this would be something that would cause that. Say one of these Fed members say something really dovish for the market, then potentially this could cause, uh, you know, that upward breakout that I mentioned. Did I have the wrong screen? I think I had the earnings screen. Well, you'll be able to see that data anyway. But that would lead to potentially this handle breaking out and heading upward. Other than that, though, we don't have any data or anything to really cause a breakout unless President Trump is speaking or some sort of event happens tomorrow. if that doesn't cause a breakout, okay, well, I don't want to delete all, I just want to delete this one. Then what we do have to look for, and I'm just going to drag this right here, I'm going to delete this, is a potential double top right here. And this could be the bear structure that we are actually looking for. If this is the double top, then this will pull downward, and very likely it will pull downward towards this 541.50 area. I've had my eye on that for a while. It's really sticking out. That candle's really just sticking out. Yeah, I really think the market's wanting to head down for that. And there's a couple reasons why. The 20 MA is down in that range. So the 20 MA is at the 544 73 right now. So it is pulling upward towards the 550. Okay, that would bring that closer to about that range. But this would be well within the area to build bullish structure to cause this uh, inverse cup right here to, form a handle upward and then pull back down. That's kind of what I don't want to say worried about, but what I'm concerned about is that there's a really, really huge gap right there. Besides that, um, the last three sessions we thoroughly tested the 5 mile, and I don't want to say that we did that this session because we didn't. It was Tuesdays and Wednesdays session that we did. So what comes from a 5 mile test is generally the upper Bollinger or the 20 mile. Well, so far we're looking like we're getting ready to push to the upper Bollinger. This just needs to build a handle and, have good enough momentum to push that, and that can definitely happen. Um, I just don't see it quite yet. I see more of this could be more of a bear structure because if you can follow my cursor right now, we have a head and shoulders right there. This can also build into a really big head and shoulders, and then, double head and shoulders right there. That would be the double top and pull us downward. So I'm really concerned about the downside. And with the 5 mod being around the 564, that really opens the upper bounds and the lower bounds of the 5 mod to where we're actually just sitting within the 5 mod right now, even in the overnight. So that would mean the upper bounds of the 5 mod would be close to the 567 range. Right now the overnight's at 565.47, so we can definitely pull up towards that, but technically we're just back in the 5 mile again. Um, and from that, that means that we can retest the level, and from retesting the level, we can then decide to head upward again or back down towards the 20 mile. So that's kind of what I'm looking for is, do we see buying continuation from this 5 mile level, or do we see selling continuation from this 5 mile level? That's really what's important and what kind of everyone just needs to focus on right now. Um, as for like overwhelming structure, we do have this cup. We do need to build a handle on this cup. Now, if this is the handle, it can be. It's a really dinky handle, and it would, lead into something like that. But I really don't. I really don't see that. I really see more liquidity in a handle like this, but technically this is massive liquidity, right? They got basically $100 move um, worth of liquidity, so they might have all the liquidity they need to continue pushing this up and up and up, and then finally break that 200 mile level. But if we do reject right here, then this is the second time we've had a major 200 mile rejection. So just keep that in mind that continuing to reject that level isn't exactly good, but it isn't exactly bad because we are starting to build support upward and, build around that level. So I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to end it there. I think I got all my notes. Yeah. Just be careful for potentially extremely bullish structure right here or extremely bearish structure. I know that's really vague, but you guys all see what I'm seeing right here. And I don't know why that random. But you all see what I'm seeing right here. There's good structure for major downside, but there's also potential structure saying that they want to continue pushing upward first before they head down. So as long as we're testing that 5 mile range, we just need to continue being patient and waiting for the major move out of that range. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. I hope everyone has a good day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you all on Sunday and trade safe, everything else. Have a good night.